Alright, so today's video we're going to be making some crown molding. So this is what we got to make on the table saw. Interesting. We got to do some cove cuts and then use the table saw to make the rest of it. I already did my test piece. This is what it looks like. It's a little rougher. This is gonna have to get rounded out by hand. Still figuring that out. Probably a that's what I gotta take out right there, that corner there and this corner here, probably with either a belt sander or hand shaped. We'll see. This is all my notes. Got the design with all the angles and the order that I'm gonna make all these cuts in. Overall, it's a 7-inch piece. First thing we gotta make is the cove cut with the blade at 45 degrees, and we're gonna go in at 52 degrees to make this type of cut. Alright, so we have all our cuts already marked out, and we have an order. We're gonna first start with our cove cut. This is what it looks like after we do the cove cut. We run our blade at 45 degrees, and then this angle here on the table is 52 degrees to get this profile. Alright, so we got alloy beginning the cove cut on the next piece. We need to run all the trim first through this first step, and then we can move on to changing the guides on the table saw to make the rest of the cuts. Alright, so here it is. Cove cut is done on all three pieces. And then also this angle cut down here is also done. You can see it. That was done on the table saw, 29 degrees. And that's running the piece vertical at 29 degrees and running it, making this cut. We're actually gonna jump number 3 because it takes away material from this side, and it's better to do it at the end because then it'll shift everything over. But other than that, I took that note right here. Other than that, everything just skip number 3 till the end. You do have this small space right here, but that gets cleaned up with the belt sander, so you have a flat side right there. So all these 3 pieces here are already done. This is our original trim, and now up against the new. It's like right on. Right there. The small stuff's gonna get blended on, but that's it. We need about 35 feet of this. That's what we're gonna be putting on that rake wall. So we're gonna extend that trim running on that side up to the rake wall, and it was either send it out to get custom milled and pay an arm and a leg, or get fancy and make it happen. So we made it happen, and there it is. This project's coming along nicely. We usually do a lot of rough framing, but here we were able to do some trim work, some finish, get out of our comfort zone and learn a little more. Next step for us is wait for plaster. Plaster has to go up first, meet up against the fascia, and then we're gonna put our fascia over that and cover the transitions from plaster to framing to the wood trim, similar to what you have up there. So yeah, this project's nice. New challenges and learn more. We still got to do a trellis up there, so once the plaster's on, if you could see those squares up there, we have another one over there in the elevator. That's where our beams are gonna run. These posts are gonna get extended up, and then we're gonna put a beam from that post into the building. We're gonna put a bucket on that block over there, and then our trellis is gonna run that way, and our beams are gonna run into the building. We're gonna use a 4x10 up there, and then some 3x6 for a trellis running in the opposite direction. We gotta put a ledger on that side. We already have our ledger on this side with the waterproofing in the back. But all this is gonna be until after plaster. So we're on hold for now. Alloy knocked out this side of the crown molding. This is pretty much the only place where we could work on at the moment. We could work the elevator. We're waiting for scaffold. We can't do rake walls 100% yet, so we have a rake wall. Rake walls are the walls that have a pitch to them. The finish is a little bit different. It's not going to have this type of overhang here, but we're going to go ahead and put that spacer there. Once stucco or plaster goes up to our 1x nailer there, then we're going to go ahead and cover the transition with our piece. This is another project we have here. So we need to make this trim. What we came up with, we're going to go with a 2-piece. So we first made this piece using a router with a 3/4 round over. This one we did with a 1/2 inch, but we already got the 3/4 round over, and we were able to make it. So these are already made. You can see right there, it's actually round. There's no peak. This is what it looks like once they're done. They have a small piece here in the ridge that we gotta hand sand down, but other than that, pretty straightforward. Knock that peak down, just like that. That's it. Back at it again. Continuing today. It looks like the scaffold's going up. That way we could begin to do the fascia around the tower. And then we also gotta do the fascia on the rake wall on the other side. Let's go check that out. And now we have another puzzle on this side. We gotta solve this corner here. We're gonna have to wrap this around, terminate it there. And then we're going to change the trim on that top side. Most of the problems are solved. So we fabricated about 35 feet of this stuff. Check it out. We're going to need to make another 20 feet because we're going to do the same profile on this downstairs area and on that side of the building. And that's matching this right here. So this area, this is the same profile. So we got to run that down and wrap it around the building. It's about 18 feet. Here's another one alloy made. This is a curved piece that's gonna go underneath to cover the transition from stucco or plaster, so which is this piece here. This one's a little different than the one we need. The one that wraps around is a 2-inch radius. So if you turn this into a circle, this turns into a 2-inch circle.